Good day, all stock market traders and investors. This is Total Investor. What we do here on this YouTube investment channel is that we look for buying and selling opportunities using technical analysis. And that means I go out and look for chart patterns, specifically with stocks, but also with commodities and even crypto. And I go through hundreds of them and see what opportunities can provide us with some profitable trades, okay, either on the buy or the sell side. Now, I think if you've been following the stock market, it's been very volatile lately, moving downwards on most days, but we might have an opportunity for a bounce, at least a bounce, maybe more. But before we go any further, I'd like to remind you, please subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And of course, everything I say should be thought of only as for educational purposes only. It does not be thought of as investment advice, okay? And please watch the entire video right to the very end, okay? We'll start off with the first one, and that is Apple, AAPL, the stock symbol. I drew here, this is a 7-month chart. I drew here the stock at 170, hit a high there back in early May. It broke through and it became support. Here, had a nice advance, pulled back to support, another advance, pulled back, support. We finally broke through yesterday. Today, traded under that, but we got our first green candle. It is quite possible that this could be a false break of the support line and move back up. Here's one way we can tell: the RSI is actually higher, okay? The low of the RSI is here, the next low here, but that is higher, as opposed to this stock, which made a lower low, okay? So this could be a nice bullish divergence, okay, which is what we want to see if we are looking to buy. So this could be a nice buying opportunity. We just have to wait and see. It needs to show us, prove to us that that's what it is, okay? Volume is lighter than the typical 20-day average here. A little bit disappointing. I think that might come in the next couple of days. So for now, just watch Apple if you're interested in that, AAPL. Next, Advanced Micro Devices, AMD. I drew a line across here at around 102. It was originally a resistance level. It broke the resistance level here, had a nice advance, pulled back, and hit support, broke through, and now we're at that resistance level again. Okay, so basically, this has become from resistance to support to resistance again. That's where we're at. Plus, we've got a downtrend line from the highs back in June coming all the way down. So we've got one level of resistance here, another one here. It does need to prove to us where it wants to go. So far, no position, but we are above the 10-day moving average. That's good, still below the 50. Looking somewhat promising. Plus, with this, the RSI at 49. So we're at that stage where we want to watch this to see what happens over the next couple of days. Okay, no position as of yet. AMD. Next, Beacon Roofing Supply, BECN. I drew a triangle here from the top, made in April, beginning of April. Downtrend line, it broke it today, right after it bounced off of its support, and the stock is now above 10-day moving average, 50-day moving average, broke its trend line. The RSI bounced off its support level and broke its trend line, and the RSI is now above 50. Plus, we've got the only thing that I don't like is the volume below the 20-day average, but I think that will come shortly once the market starts to prove itself. So this one is looking good, BECN. Next, we've got Concentrix Corporation, CNXC. This I drew a long downtrend line from just marking the lows of the stock back in May, July, August, September. And what do we look when we look at the RSI? Its lows are actually higher lows as opposed to the stock making lower lows. Okay, that is, as I've said a million times before, bullish divergence. You want to see that. That's good. It's a warning that the trend, in this case downwards, could be ending soon. And we're getting that. We may have gotten that final verdict today with a nice big green candle on heavy volume, 1.1 million shares as opposed to 429 being the 20-day average. Plus the stock is above the 10-day and the 50-day moving averages. That's good. And the RSI broke 50. So everything is looking good for Concentrix, CNXC. Next, EverQuote, EVER. I drew a triangle down here for the stock, made lower lows. It bounced off of that. Look up here, the RSI, higher lows, bullish divergence. Plus, another downtrend line here for the stock was hitting the highs. It broke that right here. Actually, several weeks ago, it broke that. Plus, we've got the stock above the 10 and 50-day moving averages. The averages have crossed. That's good. And the stock has been, the RSI has been at the plus 50 for quite some time now. So everything is looking good for EverQuote. I would like to see maybe a little bit more volume going through. That may pick up in due time. EVER. Griffin Corporation, GFF. The stock has been hitting support after it broke after it broke through the resistance level here in June, fell back, made an advance, fell back, advance, fell back. So we've got some good strong support here. The stock today finally closed above the 10 and 50-day moving averages. They look like they want to cross over into bullish territory, and the RSI above 50. So everything is looking good there. Again, except the volume, 389 as opposed to 476. Nothing terrible, but would like to see that pick up. We might see that in due time once the general market starts to move. GFF. Next, again, somewhat similar pattern here. We had strong resistance here on the stock back in May. It broke through, had a nice advance, pulled back, resistance becomes support, support again here. And if we look above here, the stock, the RSI has moved higher. Same with the stock, but we finally broke through with the RSI on the stock. It's above 50. That's good. The stock is now above the 10 and 50-day moving averages. Nice green day. Decent, good volume of 3 million shares. So maybe the RSI is leading here, and the stock may want to go higher. We will see. This is like a good candidate for a nice advance here, short term. Have a look at that one. Put that one on your watch list. IMGN. Next is the iShares, or the Russells, 2000 IWM. I drew an upward trend line from all the lows that it made back in March, May, and just recently, late September. So it had bounced. That's a good sign. If we look at the high that it made here in late July to the low in August, we measure that, and then we take that dollar amount and use this as the measuring rod. It actually fulfilled its target right down here. Okay, so this distance is approximately equal to this distance. Okay, it bounced, got to the target. That's what we want to see. We might have an opportunity for a buy. It needs work, however, okay? But this is like very early stages of what is possible, that it could bounce and move substantially higher, okay? watch this. The RSI, it did break its downtrend line, short term anyways. So maybe something encouraging there. Volume picked up a little bit. That's encouraging. So watch this one, IWM. Not as popular as some of the other indexes like the QQQs or the SPYs, but this is what we're using here. Okay, IWM. Next, Lantheus Holdings, LNTH. Drew a support level here. It broke through. That became a resistance when it touched once, well, actually several times, 1, 2, and today this looks like the downtrend line is finally over. We've got a low here and another low here on the stock. Yeah, look at the RSI. It did not make a new low. It actually slightly higher. So there's your bullish divergence. The stock is above its 10-day and still just below a hair of its 50-day moving average and just right at this resistance level. Okay, but what's encouraging here is the RSI. It broke its 50, so maybe tomorrow we might see a break of the resistance level, and that will give us a buy signal. Okay, volume is good at 1.3 million shares as opposed to just under a million, so everything is looking good here on LNTH. Next, we've got NVIDIA. We have to look at the 400 level, or just slightly above that. It was initially resistance, then it broke through resistance, had a little bit of a pop, pulled back, became support, an advance, pulled back, support, another advance, pulled back, hit support, and bounced off. Okay, so strong support at just above the 400 level. If we look at the RSI, it has crossed its moving average. We're at 44. It's not going to take much to move up to above 50. The stock is above its 10-day moving average, but still below its 50. So, and volume is pretty much flat as to what you would expect over the 20-day average. So this is like green shoots. We're getting small signs of encouragement, but we're not quite there yet for NVIDIA. Okay, but it does go on the watch list to watch. Next, and finally, Palantir Tech, PLTR. Somewhat of a similar pattern here. It broke through resistance level, advanced, came back, became support, advanced again, pulled back, support, small advance, pulled back for support. So just below the $15 level, we've got strong support on Palantir. The stock is above the 10-day and the 50-day moving average. That's good. The RSI above its 50. That's good. And the volume, 66 million as opposed to 48 on the 20-day average. That's good. Okay, so Palantir looks a little bit stronger than the previous stock. Have this one on your list, PLTR. And I believe that's the last one. Let's see. Yes, it is. Okay, so I gave you a whole bunch of tech stocks plus others. That's just my take using technical analysis. Please, as I said before, subscribe to this channel to get more stocks updates. And big thumbs up if you feel that deserves it. Plus, comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say on any of these stocks that I bring you and on the channel. I do read the comments once I get them. So please, let's hear what you got to say. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.